So today I would like to talk about the problem of eutrophication worldwide. So what actually is eutrophication? So it boils down to the loading of excess nutrients into a water body, which in turn causes a massive algal bloom. And the main culprits of this are usually phosphorus and nitrogen, although there can be others. And the result of this, usually it's cyanobacteria, which actually aren't algae, but they appear to be algae, and it's why they're lumped in here. But as you can see from this figure, you have the nitrogen and phosphorus entering the system, which then um, causes a whole ladder of events to happen, which we will discuss later in this video. So then, what are the causes of this? So the main causes in the past 100 years have been anthropogenic inputs. And if you're not aware what that word means, it is human inputs. So the main ones being farm runoff, leaky sewage, that's a large one now, and wastewater plants. And this process can also occur naturally through disasters such as floods and tsunamis, but also it can occur from over time through many centuries and millennia. It can occur naturally in a body of water. And what actually is the impact of this? So the main impact is it causes these areas in a water body called dead zones. So when these um, algae or bacteria die, and they do die quick, they decompose, and decomposition requires oxygen. And if all these algae, if they all die fairly quickly and with each other, then this rips a lot of oxygen out of the water body, and it can't get replaced fast enough, which causes a area to occur with little to no oxygen, and this causes fish kills and makes the spots inhabitable for the organisms that require oxygen. And then this in turn affects us as humans, as if these fish we rely on, or if these spots we fished or anything like that, um, they won't be habitable for any type of organism. Another side effect of this, there's no photosynthesis that occurs when this algal bloom is alive, as you physically have this green blob blocking the surface, and the light can't get in to support the photosynthesis of benthic plants, which loads carbon into the water body, and that causes a whole cascade of events. And cyanobacteria do release toxins too, mainly microcystin, that have an effect on us humans, as I bet some of you know that some lakes get shut down because of the water quality, and usually it's due to cyanobacteria. So one area that has a problem is China. So a number of physical and socioeconomic factors have contributed to the rise of eutrophication, and nowadays, um, with the population increases, most areas, even with mitigation, the eutrophication is increasing, while the capacity for the system to diminish these effects is decreasing. So you have a very inverse relationship, which is a disaster for the ecosystem. And also, most of the lakes in China, they're very populated, and um, and they're also shallow, which helps this algal bloom thrive. And like I said before, in spite of an increase in efforts to control this eutrophication, the past 2 decades, eutrophication has increased, as you can see from these figures on the right. So another example in South America is Maracaibo Lake, and they've had a history of oil extraction, industrial pollution, and agriculture and human waste. And recently, with cattle raising, shrimp and palm farming, lack of waste disposal, of proper waste disposal, and deforestation, this all contributes to eutrophication, especially deforestation, because those trees provide a sink for the excess nutrients to fall into, and if that's not there, then they just freely flow into these lakes and rivers. And the main problem with this is these citizens who rely on the aquatic ecosystem for economic process, for sustaining livelihoods through eating anything that comes out of there, this is all disrupted. And you can see on the right there, this is an image from the lake. The right side is eutrophication, and on the left side is how the lake should look. So in the United States, this Chesapeake Bay topic I could go on about for hours, but this figure shows in 2021 this is how the bay was graded. And as we know, the Chesapeake Bay is the largest estuary in the United States. And the main problem that it's been experiencing is, as you can see, most of these tributaries are given a C or a D grade. And this is especially apparent in the Susquehanna, where we have a lot of farms in Pennsylvania, and this runoff from the farms feeds into the tributaries, and then it all ends up in the bay, and it forms a mass ball of excess nutrients, which then causes massive eutrophication in the bay. So one of the last examples, now this is found worldwide, but it's been a problem in Africa. So it's called red tide, and what it is, it's a another group of algae that are brought up through eutrophication, but it actually does turn the water a reddish color. And if you search up anything about red tide, you'll see the disaster that it brings. Massive fish kills. You'll see fish washed up on the beach, and it's a very, very bad area to be in. And especially these countries that rely on fish for sustenance, they're greatly affected as parts, even really large parts along the coast, are riddled with dead fish, and they can't do anything with those. So then, how would we actually try to solve eutrophication? That's been the ongoing question. But so we know the impacts are devastating, and they're really hard to mitigate. The main problem that we're finding out now is degrading sewer pipes actually have led to a massive increase in eutrophication, and people don't like replacing their sewer pipes because it's expensive with the leaky sewage, and farmers also don't like changing their ways. Even if you educate them, sometimes they're very set on their ways, though some people are open to change. It's the human impact on this is very tough to deal with. But there's been models like the Sparrow model you see here to try to estimate dissolved nutrient flow across waterways.